Hi all, I'm Cullen Haynes and welcome to Live with Cullen Haynes, Law Live, episode 67. I've got an absolute behemoth for you today. Author of Blood-Soaked Soil, From Early Life in Communist Yugoslavia to the First Months of the War. This man has lived a very, very exciting but harrowing life, is now full-time here in Australia, is an author, YouTuber, human intelligence expert, over 130,000 subscribers on YouTube, podcaster, and if I didn't already say it, Guinness World Record holder. He's an absolute dear friend of mine. His name is Mario Bekes. Can you please make him very welcome, the one and only Mario here today. Mario, how are you, mon ami?
Cullen, first of all, thank you for having me on your podcast. Thank you for putting me live in front of your audience. I just want to say, everybody, hoping you have a guys good day. The life treat you well, and thank you for having me again. Thank you.
It's great to have you here, mon ami. I've been wanting to do this for some time because obviously, if people would know what you do in the legal realm, because I deal with a lot of lawyers, my clients, and they have expert witnesses and whatnot. But in a nutshell, what is it? We'll talk about the YouTube, the author, and everything afterwards. Life, the Battlefield, which is the name of this episode. Yeah. But what is it you do in your actual day job, as it were? What does it mean to be a human intelligence expert?
Well, look, my business is being set up around the 3 F's, fear, fight, and freedom. Do you remember that moment when someone took advantage of you? Well, that's where I'm fitting in. So my company is Intelligence, which I started 2010. It's a premier investigative company in Australia. And I started with the reason to help to fight the fraud, the scam, and the list goes on. And basically what we're doing, we're fighting for our clients. We investigating all these types of the claims, investigations in the fraud, in the scam, cyber arena, and that actually free the people to do their job, what they're supposed to do, not worrying about the investigative process. So this is in a nutshell, that's what I started my company, ISA Intelligence, 2010. It was a basically product of necessity because, it was a GFC and, I lost everything, like many people that stage. And I have only one option. I'd say, I need to now do something what I will not be fall into that dogma of, working always and being afraid if I lose a job. That way I started my own business. And challenges was just on daily basis. And as I grow the business, I grow another business called Cheating Partners. Of course, it's infidelity investigations.
There's no one who does that in Australia, surely. Come on.
Yeah, look, there was plenty of people, but people always ask me, can you help me with that infidelity investigations? I say, sure. So I need to separate two entities. The corporate entity, which is ISA Intelligence. Now this is about 250 people strong, and then I created the Cheating Partners purposely, deliberately for the investigating infidelity. Subsequently, I was glad that I met people like yourself who inspire me on daily basis on LinkedIn that impossible is possible. That is, you can write a book, you can educate yourself. And eventually I wanted to share my story, I want to write a book. And that was a challenge for me because English is my fifth language. So I said to myself, how I can...
Your fifth language. Look,
it is, but, still writing book, it's... when I was writing book, there was no ChatGPT. So yeah, thank you.
No, it's great. It's great to have you and talk about all these things because, as I said, when I read this, because all my followers know that I'm a big reader, and when I read your book, I had no idea. I was in year 6 when everything was going on in Yugoslavia and whatnot. So I'd love to talk more about this book. Obviously, you were in the army. You experienced some absolutely awful things. But yeah, you basically put it all into one. But what inspired you to write that book and relive that? Because it's not easy, especially the life that you had. Because we take it for granted in Australia. I didn't realize that you couldn't even get a loaf of bread. You couldn't even get these things, like the basic human needs you couldn't get at that time.
Look, today I'm seeing the people fighting for the dozen of eggs. And I remember as a kid in Yugoslavia was so green was so dark, in the beginning of the 80s was inflation and recession and all these things. I remember staying in the front of the shop for 12 hours, then my dad 12 hours and my mom couple hours to buy the, liter of the cooking oil or the kilo of the salt or coffee. So look, I never planned my life, I never planned my life that I'm going to write a book one day. I was a big dreamer. Like I must say, I was always dreaming. And I said to people, be careful what you wish for. I wanted to be the soldier. So at age 14, I went to military school. Suddenly, I had the civil war happening in a country, which I was supposed to protect in Yugoslavia. So suddenly I'm fighting for democracy, freedom. For me, democracy, freedom was definition was a Coke and McDonald's and all these things, like I didn't know what the freedom it is, right? So I will never go in the war but look, my parents done decision for me. They dumped me. Literally, they left me and they abandoned me. So I was 18 years old. I had no choice. So I went in the war. So that was the start of my career. 14 years later, be careful what you wish for. I say, I just want to be 007. And dreams come true. I was recruited to the Foreign Intelligence of Republic of Croatia, 96. After 2 years of extensive, sort of secret, very discreet education, trainings, preparations, I was transferred from defense to foreign affairs. And I got a ticket and say, going in Croatian embassy in Canberra. And that's how I start, my life. And I wanted to create a legacy, Cullen, I wanted people to learn from my experience that, you can survive many things.
And you're certainly doing that, Monterey. And this life is a love letter to all those things. It's called Blood Soaked Soul, but I'd love to know if I could ask you if you could explain your life in film titles or other book titles. How would you do that?
Look, it's interesting. When I saw your questions, I said to myself, "My God!" He spoke to my publisher, which is Juliet Clark. She's a big publisher in the US. And because it's second part of this book, it's called "Was the True Price of the Freedom?" It's out anyway, and she says to Maddie, "Your life, it's like between the movie Saving Private Ryan, which is a war, right? All the struggle and survival. Then the part of my life, it's a Jason Bourne without
Yes.
like all these assassinations, all this espionage and so those things. And then there comes the corporate part of my life, which is a girl with a dragon tattoo." Pretty sure, yeah. Because it's all about investigating corporate entities, private entities.
Yes.
So
yes,
this is a three movies of can describe my life.
Incredible. So I think people can derive a lot of value from all those three movies, my friend. And I will just remind everyone, this is live. We are here. It's Wednesday, the 12th of March, 12:25 Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We're broadcasting live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X. If you have any burning questions for this man, put them in the comments. I'm keeping an eye on there. Will Work from Instagram has said, welcome, Mario. So thank you, Will. But put it in here. We'd be honored to shout you out. And thank you for everyone rewatching or watching live and listening to the podcast as well, live with Cullen Haynes. But my next question, my friend, not many people know this, but you are a Guinness World Record holder. So how did you do it? I think it is the longest stream in history, if I'm not mistaken, or longest podcast in history. Tell me more.
Yeah, look, the thing is, I'll come back to that part of when people say you can't do it. I said to myself, I want to create something special because my son is my real model, right? People who don't know, my son was being diagnosed with epilepsy quite late in his life, and now he's healthy because he has surgery. So I wanted to always fight for him to show him it's possible. So I said, I'm gonna smash the Guinness World Record holder, for the longest audio broadcast, and only I could do it because I was on a local radio station. I announced I'm gonna crush that record. Look, I didn't know what that's gonna bring to me, but it was a lot of suffering at the end because it took me 7 days to come to my senses. So look, I decided to break that world record, which is 50 hours was the previous record. Mine's 55 hours and 25 minutes.
Wow.
It was a lot of preparations. It's a lot of people who stood by me. There's a lot of obstacles, a lot of sabotages. But eventually I did it. And the only thing is I didn't calculate it. It's my age. I was thinking myself, when I was in a war, I could sleep without a couple of days. Well, after 24 hours, you need to continuously talk. The challenge was you can be only 30 seconds without like a dead air. So I need to bring the guests to converse with people and everything else. You need to watch the people talk, not to stop talking. And eventually I proved myself that it's impossible. It's possible. I proved to my son that it's worth to fight, that he can achieve results. So yeah, that was a major reason. We're planning another Guinness World Record this year. So.
Oh, can you tell us a little bit more about that one, or is that a bit hush hush?
I can tell you this. I can tell the people it's involved the height, speed, sound, breaking the speed of sound.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be the jump. It's involved the jump. So still working in some other areas, but it's going to try to break the highest jump. So that's
You're a bit of a daredevil. I can feel it. I'm excited by this. Good luck, whatever you got planned. And I'm sure we'll see you crack that record. Be sure to put your questions. We've got about 20 minutes left in the stream, guys. I've got a few more questions. So you got 2 books out. Obviously, Blood Soaked Soil is your first one. And your second one we want to shout out that people can get. It's out now, is right? True Price of Freedom.
That's correct, yes. So that's a book, continuously one after each other. So that's it,
So would you say this is part 1 of your life? So where does the second book pick up from?
Well, it picks up from the moment, like I said to people, you should dream. And I'm going to just quickly explain what's happened. So on the 15th of January 1992, Croatia was internationally recognized. And that was the most bloodiest day because the enemy was shelling from everywhere. And then for some reason, Cullen, I can't even describe this. Can you imagine you in the trenches? And around me were like all these old people, 60s old, very sick, because there was no manpower left anymore.
Yes.
And they were sitting in a bunker. They're watching that TV. On a TV, suddenly come commercial. 3 girls dancing with a cheeseburger in Ibiza. And I was just saw with the glimpse of my eye. And somewhere distance was a plane. Just a hot air. You can see it. It's not, I can see the plane. And I said, one day I'm going to be on that plane with these girls where it's warm and sunny. And everybody says to me, come on, boss. They call me the boss because I was a section leader. And they said to me, boss, don't be stupid. You know what I mean? Stop dreaming. You know what I mean? It's war. It's like, I was just 19 years old. I said, like, one day I will be there. So the book picked up the moment when when the war comes to the most scariest part, that's a status quo, ceasefire. And, then you see the true damages of the war. And then my transition from combat to the military security intelligence services and working in that section. So, yeah.
Absolutely amazing, my friend. I'm going to pick up a copy now. I've read part 1. I'm going to pick up part 2. What publisher do you say that's from and where can people get it?
Okay, look, it's on Amazon as well, but it's feel free to go on my website, mariobekes.com.au as well.
Yes.
But if I can, Cullen, if I can abuse my friendship with you. So, guys, this book, Blood Soaked Soil, which Cullen read, it's now available on my channel, Mario Bekes, or Life the Battlefield podcast. I can send a link. So I converted every chapter from audio book into the visual, so they can immerse themselves, into that experience of the war. So it's on my podcast on YouTube, Mario Bekes.
Definitely get into that. That'll add a visual element to actually add some emotion behind it. That's incredible there, Mario. Switching gears a little bit, but obviously the same sort of theme, Life the Battlefield. You've called your podcast that, you've got it in the background, your YouTube show is called that as well. What does it mean to be Life the Battlefield? And do you think that played into reaching 130,000 subscribers? Let's start with the first verse, Life the Battlefield.
I always was in favor from the people who live the real life, Once upon a time in my life, I was being engaged as well on YouTube, listening and watching, observing, and try to learn from people how to be happier, how to be healthier, all these things. So, when I spoke with my publisher, and somebody who helped me in my life here in Australia, his name is Professor Clive Smallman, who told me it's not what you by nature, but by nurture. He told me that I should study, get my master's, and I was fighting. I said, this is on English. He says, it's okay, I'll help you. Let's go write a book. Then I started my podcast, basically Life the Battlefield, try to prove to people through my experience and my guests like yourself that real life, it's a people like a Cullen and Haynes, like today, people who live that life and they can empower other people, motivate them with the real life experiences, how to live the life, rather than just listen. Statistically speaking, 98% of the public speakers and the books about how to live the life better or how to lifestyle increase or motivation, inspiration comes from America. People,
Of course.
people who are, can question things. So, Life the Battlefield, it's all about experiences, life the battles, and people are willing to share my podcast. And a lot of, I have a lot of people who are clients now. They want to share their secrets, how to people share their life stories, and it's empowerment. And in hindsight, part of my podcast, Life the Battlefield, it is about exposing false gurus and coaches and all these people who are pretending there's something what they're not. So that's the podcast about.
Fantastic. And you were saying offline that you learned from the masters, you saw what was popular on YouTube, you saw what people were doing with their podcasts, and it's not necessarily what you think. And I think one of the wonderful tips you gave me was think about how you search YouTube, what you look for, and don't reinvent the wheel. Try and hack in and jack into those things.
Yeah, look, it's reverse engineering. It's a secret to everything. You know that. People, you can invent something, but someone is gonna go grab that product or service and gonna, backtrack. They're gonna reverse everything to find out the core of success. And podcasting, it's depending on in my understanding so far about two things: consistency. You need to be consistent over there. You don't search for public. Public will find you, and when they find you, you cannot just expect they're going to be all great comments or feedbacks. They're going to be a lot of negative comments, but embrace them. You know what I mean? And secondly, just go to YouTube, and when you're searching something, see what they're using as a hashtags, as a description. And that's what it is. That's if they're succeeding in this, you can just replicate as I did.
Good on you, my friend. Good on you. And what I'd love to, this is a great little segue. What's a surprising skill that has helped you on your career and journey so far?
Look, if I want to be like smart ass, I'm supposed for language, I can't say like, look, but I was resilient, I was brave, the courage, everything else. Look, I was more afraid in the world than being brave and courageous. When I was courageous, I was naive and reckless, and I got more medals because I was reckless than being brave. But what helped me, it's actually human intelligence approach of the human intelligence, which is basically, how to interact with the humans and extract information from somebody for your success. So that was something, because people love to talk, people love to share beyond the understanding, and I just grabbed what I needed for success.
I love that. And you do so much in your day, Mario. How do you unwind after a particularly tough day, would you say?
Look, I'm not a spring flower anymore. I'm the senior citizen. How I know this, because the other day I got my kit for the screening and bowel cancer. I said to myself, why is that there? My GP says to me, because you're 50 years old. I said, oh, what does that mean? He said, you're a senior citizen. Okay, so I find the best part is it's exercising. So still today I'm fighting in boxing, as you know, still competing. And that's what for me it is, the boxing, even it's a slow motion at this stage. It's not anymore Rocky Balboa moves, but I love go into my boxing gym with my coach Rodney Williams and do sparrings, and he put me at my pace. But that's how I find myself, relaxed and exercising. I think like you do. When I see you, how much every time when you post something, I run 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, say, what is this guy? What is this Cullen eating? Where's this energy, right? But that's what it is about life. You agree?
I agree. I concur. It's all about, what you put in and how you approach the day as well, right? And structuring it. So it's very easy for me to, I've got an amazing wife who looks after our 6-month-old. We've had obviously Benji for the last 25 months. It's very easy to say I've got kids, I can't do all those things. But I thought, what would be a way that I can continue my running, spend time with my son walk the dog, and also have some cathartic self-enrichment, reflective time, because we go through the cemetery.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know
Yeah.
what? He gets up at 6 anyway. We're just gonna get up. We're gonna give Mama a break, and we're gonna go and walk through the cemetery, run through the cemetery, and that's our morning regime. We have 30 minutes to 45 minutes in the quiet all together, and
Yeah.
it's the best way to start the day. Let me tell you.
I say that's where it's like, we all need to find something what makes us happy. Like, I think that's the easiest part it is to just sit back and just like, open the fridge and eat. But also, like, I think that exercise is a very important part of the life on my own. Even in this now age, I'm 52. I love boxing.
You don't look it. You look good.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cullen. Thank you. But I think I'm very fortunate and lucky because I live in Australia. Because if I live back in Croatia, I'll not be today who I am. I think I'll be very ruined man, because it is who you are surrounding yourself with, and the people who are around you either push you up or bring you down.
Very good point. So you got to keep that mindset. Stand guard at the door of your mind, as Jim Rohn would say, right? So you just got to be careful who
you just love Jim Rohn. I know. I admire you for that. Seriously, I'm admiring you. How much you read, how much you're like a SpongeBob. You soak it all that knowledge, and all that information. So thank you for sharing this.
Oh, of course. Look, I've been on it since I was 12 years old. My father got me onto Jim Rohn very, very early. Tony Robbins, Napoleon Hill, all those things. So I've been listening to the, the old tracks, the tapes of Jim Rohn for years. So just like marinades, right? What the other thing I like what he says, which is what you said, is you are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you got to look at who are the people you spend the most time with, and usually it's the people at work. Are they inspiring you? Are they making you go up here? Or are they dragging you down here? Because you can either fly with the eagles or you can quack with the ducks. There's a choice,
I read that book once upon a time, like, because I never, at first I never believed in that things till I didn't hit the rock bottom, and then I got a shovel and started digging even deeper, abyss of the darkness. And then I went in the library 2009, and I for some reason the books appeared in front of you, which is basically. It's an Aussie writer called Paul Hanna. He wrote that book, You Can Do It. And like he says, that movie, Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. If you build it,
if you build it, they will come.
And I was like, oh, come on, this is a bull. And I said to myself, well, I need to build it. You can do it. Yes. So yeah, that's correct.
Paul Hanna, get on to it.
Oh, that's it. That's the book, yes.
It's an oldie but a goodie. Here we go. Get on this book, guys. Paul Hanna, You Can Do It. So I'm sure it's on Amazon. Sure it's $15. Probably the best $15 you're going to spend. You're going to probably spend it on coffees or lunch.
Absolutely. And he said that's what you're saying, who you spend time with. It's going to determine who you become. And absolutely.
Absolutely, my friend. We talked about your passion project. You're doing another Guinness World Record. Is there anything else you're working on right now that you can share with us, or anything you want to tell us that is in the world of Mario Bekes that we can share?
Look, at the very moment, like, I'm working on a book which is called Enhanced Interrogation Methods, which is basically a technical book about interrogations and how interrogation works and how to apply those methods. But then simultaneously, as I reach my 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, I decided to create a legacy and share that with people, my knowledge, my experience, what they can do and why they should run the podcast. And I will say this very clearly right now. It takes a lot of courage to do this, what you're doing, Cullen. It's easy to be on a side, spectacle, or somebody who's going to critique, people podcasting. For me, it was a challenge. Still today it is because of the language. But I feel like I want to bring this experience of podcasting to other people in a way that whatever you do in your life, just do it. So like I'm doing small book as well. It's a blueprint for the success in podcasting simultaneously. So those 2 things, yes.
I really, really love that. Thank you so much for that. Because it isn't easy. Like, takes effort to invite guests, have people on here, set up the tech and everything. But I think it was Babe Ruth who said the loudest criticism comes from the cheapest seats. And it's very easy to criticize when you're a faceless troll online. But I welcome them because you know what? Like, good, love me or hate me, at least now you know me. And engagement is engagement, whether it's positive or negative. So tell me
Correct.
who I look like. Tell me how bad I am. I want it in the comments. You're just helping my engagement soar. So thank you.
No, you are absolutely spot on. Yes.
Yeah, very good. Where do you see social media and, investigations and things like that in the next years, my friend? Casting your crystal ball into the future.
Look, part of our services in my company is intelligence. It's a social media intelligence. It's basically we investigating source informations and validity of informations online and doing the due diligence background checks. Look, I think that social media it will increase, and it's going to be part of our life. That pen and paper is going to be obsolete. So I truly believe that the future of our lives it is social media. No question asked. So I said to myself, we just need to learn how to accept good and bad from the social media, and most importantly, we need to learn how to be humans on social media, because it's I say like it's a lot of people there who use social media just to ridicule others, to
Yes.
badmouth it, bring them down. Unfortunately, that's happening in real life. Happened in my times when the pen and paper was, me there. But as I said, like I truly believe that social media it will grow, and it's going to take it our lives entirely 100%. We're going to be online. There will not be any more pen and paper. That's it. Yeah. So that's how I see this here. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And in terms of your day to day, what's the most unusual client request someone's ever asked of you?
Oh man, where to start?
There's probably been so many.
Look, the one it's a very unusual it is, and one of the saddest cases actually I did have, somebody who asked me, it was about learning what the kids they're doing, because they lost contact between parents lost the contact with the kids. So they couldn't find them. And I said to myself, how come you don't know where your son it is? You know what I mean? Like, we talk about 33, 34 years old male. So I think that's the most unusual thing, that somebody asked me to find a son or daughter in Australia because they lost the contact. And that's because parents are becoming a little bit older, so they don't use social media. Who knows what falls in past, what unfolded, some unfortunate events, maybe fights, feud. So
correct.
That's very unusual. Yeah, I mean, for me,
to
find it.
Oh my God, it would be very hard and challenging, but nonetheless, someone's got to do the good work that you're doing there, Mario. So thank you, my friend. You've probably had many mentors in your life, in the army, in your family, but who's been the most influential mentor to you, and why?
My grandfather. I said this straight away. Like, my grandfather was a very unusual man. He was a high-ranking position, secret police in Yugoslavia. You know what I mean? When he was walking the street, he was like a Moses. People would just move left and right, Good morning, good morning. It's like, why everybody's bowing to him, you know what I mean? Like, I never knew what it is, but he always, he didn't know how to show the love, but I knew he loved me. And despite all my issues and problems, he always tried to put me on the right path. And he was there for me. Even in moments when the war started, my parents, they disappeared. So he stayed. I was looking after him, but he was there with me, for me. So my grandfather is my role model, because he loved me for who I am, and he never gave up on me. So, you know what I mean? And tried to push me, forward, to become better man. That was for me the biggest thing.
Amazing. So we'll shout out to your grandfather. Obviously, he had a big influence on you, and I think you wrote about him in the book as well. So
yes.
Absolutely incredible. What would you like to see in the realm of either law or social media? Like, if you could wave a magic wand and change something today, what would it be, Mario?
Look, I will ban every troll if possible, because social media is like I'm the adult, I can absorb some things, but I saw how many teenagers, particularly when my kid was with epilepsy, all that bullying and harassment.
Crazy.
I exactly. I like to these people be sort of low, find a way to be reprimanded, you know what I mean, or re-educate or something, you know what I mean, to understand that people, even social media, when you can weaponize the words or meanings, and you can hurt people. So I think that that's not fair, because hiding behind the screen, it's not courage, it's a cowardice. But I like to find a way to deal with those people who are using social media to harm others. That's
Very well said. Very well said, sir. Very well said. And good use of words like re-education. Very, I think it definitely comes from like the communist country, right? You got to make sure people can relearn things.
It's true. Like, look, that's. I've been, I was in juvenile at age 12 because I stabbed the guy with a screwdriver. And their education, you start all doing these things. But I think that people need to be put in position to learn like, if you put in a position to see when somebody is being hurt because of their actions, they should understand, you know what I mean? Are we talking about younger age? So, yeah.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And lessons for young professionals, young people watching, starting their career, entering social media or doing whatever. They're just at the start, 18 years old. What would you say to them, Mario?
Look, whatever you do, keep your passion, keep your desire high. I mean, you're gonna face the walls, you're gonna hit the obstacles, you're gonna be sabotaged, you're gonna be try to be pulled down. Play nicely, build a better world, not a nasty world. It's enough nasty people around us, and create a better environment for the generations to come. So whatever you do, try to share your knowledge, experience through legacy and your posts, after all, and make the people lives better. That's how I'm gonna say, make the people lives better.
Oh, well, and that's what you do. I love your posts and your quotes that you do. One of them that I saw recently, which was fantastic, was they said I couldn't do it, so I proved them wrong twice, so I'm going to thank them twice. And I thought that was great.
Yeah. Look, I'm grateful that I met you. You never know when you meet people what part in your life they're gonna come, as you did now. And you read in my book, which makes me very, 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 very privileged, because you're reading a lot of books. I'm appearing on your podcast. This is the privilege. And that's the, I don't say I deserve this or I earn, but I will appreciate this very moment you gave me opportunity to talk to your friends, to your audience. And that's I say to people, play nicely. Don't be nasty. Don't be nasty. Be who you are.
Be kind. Life is too short, and what did Plato say? Be kind. Everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle that you know nothing about. So even the people being mean to you, be careful when you're mean back, because you don't know, like, it's just a snapshot. They could have lost a loved one. They could be going through divorce, like whatever it is. So,
Yes.
yeah, I've learned that every day, like, especially that stoic mindset, memento mori. You approach the world differently when you realize that one day you won't be here. Everything, like, I think in Terminator, they say in 100 years, who's going to care? It's like, yeah, it's like, so be kind, everyone. I think that's a good message there, Mario.
I think what you're doing, I want to say thank you on behalf of everybody who's watching your podcast. Every episode, 67 episodes, you say, right? Whatever you created today, not just with me, it's going to echo in the future. That's what I say to people. They're going to go online, going to say, like, I want to know more about law and the homes. It's going to come your podcast. So that's something I want to say thank you for the making this.
Thank you, Mario.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. Finance isn't sexy, but we're happy to talk about it. People don't want a loan. They want a home. So we're happy to talk about the ins and outs of how we put people into proverbial debt. That's fine. We can do that. But nonetheless, my friend, ending on a high or a low or a cathartic way, but I absolutely love this question. When all is said and done, obviously one day you won't be here. How would you, Mario Bekes, like to be remembered, sir?
I know you sent me that question, but how are we going to remember? I just want to be to somebody be remembered that I'm the reason for somebody to push themselves even harder. So, even my records, whatever it is, to somebody see it and say, like, once upon a time there was Mario Bekes, I can do better than him. I like to be that cause of somebody being more successful, more happier. Yeah.
Well, you're already doing that in spades, my friend. Thank you for coming on the show. We've got some bonus questions that we'll bring you back for. But where can people find you? Where are you hanging out the most if people want to get in touch with you and follow you, mon ami?
Look, basically, like, as I say, like, you just ask the holy grail of the knowledge, Dr. Google. But basically, just go to my website, mariobekes.com.au, and feel free to contact me. Thank you, Cullen. So feel free to contact me there via website, and we can take it from there.
Very good. Be sure to get both your books out at the moment. They're on Amazon. We'll put them in the show notes. And it's been a pleasure to have you on today, Mario. We'll bring you back very shortly, sir.
Thank you so much, Cullen. Thank you to all of your viewers and listeners.
Thanks so much. And it was great to have Mario Bekes on the show. If you are a legend of law or you know someone who is and you want to come on the Law Live podcast, we're booked out until October, but we do have some spots towards the end of the year. Get in touch because we come out every Wednesday, interviewing a legend of law, which we're always happy to bring on. Be sure to subscribe to the Law Live with Cullen Haynes podcast. Also, cheeky plug, I've come out with my new book, The Laws of LinkedIn. 23 laws to attract your ideal clients, build your loyal following, and scale your income to 7 figures on LinkedIn. How we build our business over the last 7 years on LinkedIn. It'd be an honor and a privilege for you to pick that up. And the audiobook is coming out on Audible very shortly. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Have a great Wednesday and make it count. Bye for now. Take care. Mario, bringing you back, sir. We got a couple of bonus questions for you. If you could explain your role or what you do to a 6-year-old child, how would you go about explaining your role or what you do day to day?
I'm the guy who knows everything.
I love that. Love that. That's easy. They're like, wow, you must know too much. There's probably stuff that you don't know. That's amazing.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I'm the guy who knows. Yeah.
There you go. And if you have a pet or if you've had one in the past, how would they describe you?
If I I knew you would ask that question. To be honest with you, I wanted to have I have the pets in past, but I think they will find me a very very caring person. I always care for the people around me. So I think they're gonna find me as a caring person, emotionally caring person. So I hate injustice. So I was gonna be that they'll describe me as a person who is care for others more than anything else.
I love that. Fantastic. And last one, which I absolutely love this question. If you could give yourself advice at any age, what would that advice be? And what age would you go back and give yourself that advice, do you think?
Oh, I will go from earliest I can remember. So don't stop believing your dreams. Whatever it is, don't stop believing your dreams. That's what it is, because everybody try to take away all your beliefs, and as a kid, as a teenager, everybody's going to try to put you in the corner, reprimand you for dream big, and don't give up on your dreams. But don't forget on that part that your dreams going to reflect the world around you, but keep dreaming.
Keep dreaming. I love that there, Mario. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Be sure to upload this. This is going on to obviously LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. We'll come out with the podcast as well. And it's been an honor and a privilege to bring you, Mario Bekes, to the show, mon ami.
Thank you so much, Cullen. Thank you to all of your viewers and listeners. See you guys.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.